Hello. Thank you for joining the New Jersey Wedding Podcast, your fabulous source for everything cool for weddings in New Jersey and elsewhere too. Andrea, it's really kind of interesting. A lot of the people who listen to our podcast and go to our preferred list are not even from New Jersey. They're not even from the United States. They're from all over the world.
I know, that's pretty neat.
It's really cool. So it just goes to prove that we do have the best vendors on our podcast, including us, I think.
Yes.
And we kind of thought we would do like a little kind of idea roundup. We've been doing weddings madly for the last month and a half, and we both saw some cool things that I just kind of wrote a big list of stuff that like, this looks cool, we should do this. And I tried to separate them into before the ceremony, cocktail hour, and I kind of lost steam with that. So it'll be organized at the beginning, and then at the end, it'll just kind of tumble together. But if you have any questions about anything that we talk about, just reach out to us. I think the coolest thing, these are kind of like before the ceremony starts. I had a groom and all his groomsmen signed his tie before and he wore his tie. I've seen that before with like jacket linings, but the tie was so cool. Yeah. It was, I think, 8 groomsmen, and they all signed it, and it was like adorable. As people kept asking him, like all through the cocktail hour, it's like, I love your tie. Like, what is that? And he's like, well, that's Fred over there and Marty's over there. It was like really, really cute.
Yeah, that's really great. What a great keepsake.
I know.
It's fun for both, Yeah. The groomsman signing it, and then the groom. Yeah, I love that. I think things like that, right?
It reminded me of, I think it was J-Lo's dress where she had all her little kids. They have like 1 million little kids. They all drew on her veil. They drew like little animals and stuff on her veil.
Oh, it was I like that.
I love that. If you have like a blended family, I have 2 blended families coming up with 5 kids each for each family. And it's like, that is what a cute idea that is, right?
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot.
I like it.
And thinking of kids, you had this recently, and I still love this. I haven't seen it with the lawnmower, but I have seen it with the guns, the bubble machine. But I guess I'm skipping ahead. That's more for the.
No, that's okay. Yeah. But you could do a bubble machine at the beginning.
It was better at the end.
Yeah, you think? I know. I just thought that was like so. I didn't actually see it at a wedding. I saw it like I was watching one, like, I don't know, Good Morning America or something, and they had like great toys for the summer, and it's like a little lawnmower that blows bubbles out the top and the sides. I'm like, how cool would that be at the end of the wedding to have like, you have to get, I guess, the ring bearer come down first, like right after the bride and groom. No, I think I would have him come down first, don't you think? Mm-hmm. Have him come down first, have them kiss, have him come down, and then spray bubbles all over it. Because, you put those little bubbles on the seat and like nobody remembers what to do with them.
Right. If people have handed out the little bubbles, I always remind them at the end, everybody get your bubbles ready so they can get that photo, right? But I love that idea and what a way for the child to stay interested and be, in a good mood. Because so often by the time it's ceremony time, they have had pictures. It's been a long day.
Oh, they're over it.
Yeah. And you can't expect a child, to still be happy. A lot of them are having meltdowns, but what a way to keep them interested. I have worked weddings, of course, a lot here on the beach where they hand out the big bubble gums to the kids that are there as guests or part of the ceremony, and they get an aisle seat and they do the guns and really get them with the bubbles on their way down. But I think the lawnmower, because those little lawnmower bubble machines, they produce, and it's not a machine, it's just a handheld, by the force of that, and they're inexpensive. They produce so many bubbles, right?
I love it. And they look great. They look great in pictures. They produce more bubbles than your 2 grandmas will.
Yes. Yeah.
That's for sure. But I love a really good welcome. And I have one of my DJs that I married. I thought this was the most brilliant idea ever. And I told him, you need to sell this. You need to add it to your list of services right under the Dancing on the Clouds and all that stuff. They had a DJ station at the valet parking stop.
Yeah.
and there was an actual DJ playing song. It was just
What a
people were
great
just,
welcome,
oh my God.
right? Get you
It
in the
was like
mood as you're walking up, right?
the party is started.
Uh-huh.
I thought that was so fun. But I did a wedding. I did a wedding at the Edgewood Country Club a couple of weeks ago, and they had they did drinks two ways that I've never seen before. They had people serving when people came up. There are ceremony spaces outside. They had two waiters serving glasses of champagne and sparkling water.
Okay.
But at the and it was a nice welcome to people because they really didn't want people in the building at that point. They wanted them to like go out immediately outside. It wasn't like a let's gather in the building and like get them all outside. They wanted to have everybody out there, it was a beautiful day, so it worked out great. But I thought what was really very cool is that at the end of that ceremony, they led the people back outside around the building. They led them down that path with like 20 waiters. It was like a receiving line, except it was waiters with drinks.
Oh, that's perfect.
It was great, and they all had and they were cool drinks. They were like pink martinis and like big glasses of green stuff. I mean, it was just so interesting, and people were having such a good time with that they didn't really mind that kind of that kind of like backup sometimes when you're trying to get 200 people into a venue and there's like one way in.
Right, right. Well, people talk about, everything's personalized now, which I
Yes.
love. And it's a lot about the guest experience. So how can we
Absolutely.
make the guest feel special? And what a great experience this is. We were met with special drinks, and yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I think any things that are just a little bit different. And it's interesting too. I mean, coming from a catering background, I feel like a lot of these things that the venues are doing also serve to, it's like traffic control. It's like the last thing you want when it's, last week it was like 85 degrees in both of the places I was. It's like nobody wants to wait for a drink after that. It's like they want to instantly have a drink in their hands. And
well thought out. There's a reason to this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Works well.
I think, and it's personal. And well, that kind of leads kind of into the ceremony. But the first thing I'd like to say about the ceremony is before the ceremony people come up, before the wedding party comes up, I had a beer donkey at one of my weddings.
I love it. There's a great picture of you with the beer. What's the donkey's name?
The beer donkey's name is Nacho.
Nacho. I was going to say Pedro, but it's Nacho.
It's Nacho, and it even gets better. He wasn't the actual beer donkey that came up the aisle. That was someplace else, but we have to talk about Nacho now that we've opened that door. Nacho is at the Riverview Barn. He was on our podcast a couple weeks ago, and Nacho is an adopted donkey, and he came to the cocktail hour with two coolers, like his saddlebags were coolers, and he was like nonplussed by the whole thing. He's just
ready so they can get that photo, right? But I love that idea and what a way for the child to stay interested and be, in a good mood. Because so often by the time it's ceremony time, they have had pictures. It's been a long day.
Oh, they're over it.
Yeah. And you can't expect a child, to still be happy. A lot of them are having meltdowns, but what a way to keep them interested. I have worked weddings, of course, a lot here on the beach where they hand out the big bubble gums to the kids that are there as guests or part of the ceremony, and they get an aisle seat and they do the guns and really get them with the bubbles on their way down. But I think the lawnmower, because those little lawnmower bubble machines, they produce, and it's not a machine, it's just a handheld, by the force of that, and they're inexpensive. They produce so many bubbles, right?
I love it. And they look great. They look great in pictures. They produce more bubbles than your two grandmas will.
Yeah.
That's for sure. But I love a really good welcome. And I have one of my DJs that I married I thought this was the most brilliant idea ever. And I told him, you need to sell this. You need to add it to your list of services right under the dancing on the clouds and all that stuff. They had a DJ station at the valet parking stop.
Yeah.
And there was an actual DJ playing song. It was just people.
What a great welcome.
Oh my
right?
God.
Get you
It was like
you're walking up, right?
the party is started. I thought that was so fun. But I did a wedding. I did a wedding at the Edgewood Country Club a couple of weeks ago, and they had they did drinks two ways that I've never seen before. They had people serving when people came up. There are ceremony spaces outside. They had two waiters serving glasses of champagne and sparkling water.
Okay.
But at and that was it was a nice welcome to people because they really didn't want people in the building at that point. They wanted them to like go out immediately outside. It wasn't like a let's gather in the building and get them all outside. They wanted to have everybody out there, it was a beautiful day, so it worked out great. But I thought what was really very cool is that at the end of that ceremony, they led the people back outside around the building. They led them down that path with like 20 waiters. It was like a receiving line, except it was waiters with drinks.
Oh, that's perfect.
It was great, and they all had and they were cool drinks. They were like pink martinis and like big glasses of green stuff. I mean, it was just so interesting, and people were having such a good time with that they didn't really mind that kind of like backup sometimes when you're trying to get 200 people into a venue and there's like one way in.
Right, right. Well, people talk about everything's personalized now, which
Yes.
I love. And it's a lot about the guest experience. So
Absolutely.
how can we make the guest feel special? And what a great experience this is. We were met with special drinks, and yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I think any things that are just a little bit different. And it's interesting too. I mean, coming from a catering background, I feel like a lot of these things that the venues are doing also serve it's like traffic control. It's like the last thing you want when it's, last week it was like 85 degrees in both of the places I was. It's like nobody wants to wait for a drink after that. It's like they want to instantly have a drink in their hands. And
well thought out. There's a reason to this.
Yeah.
Works well.
I think, and it's personal. And well, that kind of leads into the ceremony. But the first thing I'd like to say about the ceremony is before the ceremony people come up, before the wedding party comes up, I had a beer donkey at one of my weddings.
I love it. There's a great picture of you with the beer. What's the donkey's name?
The beer donkey's name is Nacho.
Nacho. I was going to say Pedro, but it's Nacho.
It's Nacho, and it even gets better. He wasn't the actual beer donkey that came up the aisle. That was someplace else. But we have to talk about Nacho now that we've opened that door. Nacho is at the Riverview Barn. He was on our podcast a couple weeks ago, and Nacho is an adopted donkey. And he came to the cocktail hour with two coolers, like his saddlebags were coolers, and he was like nonplussed by the whole thing. He's just like, I'm eating grass, I'm fine, whatever. Everybody took their pictures with him, everybody. And but the really funny thing about it is that, and Ian tells this story in the podcast, Ian, who's one of the owners of the place, says they adopted Nacho's mom too. And of course, we all know what Nacho's mom's name is. It's Nacho Mom. Ma. I think I told this story like 800 times during cocktail hour at that wedding, but it was just like, and people just like loved him. He was just, I think the couple that went there, the couple that I married, when we started talking about venues, she's like, well, why did you pick this place over? She says, well, we found out they had a beer donkey and we had to go there. It's like, well, I can totally understand that.
Yeah.
Totally. Oh, I don't know. It doesn't seamlessly lead me into the Bharat. Anybody who's been to an Indian wedding or done an Indian wedding like we have, this is a custom that I think is like the best entree into a wedding ceremony ever. If you're a traditional one, will have the groom on a white horse or a white elephant. I've done one with with an elephant. I did it at Liberty House.
That's
I don't
crazy.
know how many white elephants for rent there are in New Jersey or the permit situation, but they do horses sometimes, and sometimes they will do a white box truck with a Bollywood DJ in it, and the groom and his party are in a white convertible, and they drive up from someplace up to the entrance to the wedding, but all the guests like follow them, and they're dancing and clapping and carrying
Yes.
on. It is like the best thing ever. I would like everybody to enter that way.
Yes, I like that. I like that. I like that one a lot. And in the car and everybody following behind them. I know they do that on the horse and the elephant too, follow behind and dance, right?
I love it. It's so great. And then when we get up there and I'm like, "Are you ready for a wedding?" And they're all like, "Yeah, oh yeah." It's like, okay, I know. I kind of got that impression that you were ready for a wedding, but I think that's like fantastic.
It's almost the Indian version of a second line, but for the
Yes,
groom's entrance, right?
it really is. And it's so, it's so for anybody who's thinking that this part of the day is going to be the most boring part of the day, that really gets rid of that
Oh,
altogether. It's like, no, this
Yeah.
is going to be fun. This is
Yeah.
great. I started to talk about things about the ceremony. And, I did one it's not always typical, but when the groom comes, assuming there's a bride and a groom, if there's a groom, he comes up and then his guys come up, assuming again that they're all guys, and they all like hug him or, give him a high five.
Shake hands. I
Yeah.
always say that as you pass the groom, acknowledge him. Shake
Yeah,
hands,
yeah.
hug, fist pumps,
Yeah, I
whatever.
love it.
Maybe you have a goofy thing you're doing. Yeah.
I love it. Well, I had one where my bride walked up the aisle, and when she got to the front with the groom, she went before she got to the groom, she went to each one of her bridesmaids and she gave them a big hug.
I love that.
It was so
That's nice.
sweet. It was so sweet.
That's
And,
beautiful. And these are beautiful photo ops. These
oh,
are
absolutely.
photos that you are going to look back on, And what a way to
Absolutely.
say thank you. Another way to say thank you
Yeah.
is
Yeah,
I
totally.
like that.
I think talking about ceremonies, it's worth mentioning, and this happened to me at the Parc Savoy. Parc Savoy is part of a three venue group: the Parc Savoy and Nanina's and the Parc Chateau. They have all built these insanely gorgeous chapels, which look like they have been there forever.
Yeah.
And one of my couples that I did them last month, they picked the inside chapel. And, I think it was a beautiful day, but and I have somebody actually coming up who's done that. I can't remember where they are, but not having to worry about whether it's going to rain on you is priceless. Making that decision a couple days ahead of time, or in this case, like months ahead of time, it's like we are going there. I have somebody coming up at Pleasantdale in the fall, and they're like, we don't really care what it's doing outside. We're going to be in that fantastic chapel room.
Both those chapels at the Parc Savoy and what's the other one?
The Parc Chateau.
The Chateau. Both of them are gorgeous chapels.
And the acoustics are unbelievable. It's really.
I really love the new chapel at Crystal Point Yacht Club. Good thought
Oh,
in there, great views from there, and just beautiful. I think that's one of the latest things. A lot of these venues are building indoor chapels. Perfect.
I think it makes the day go
About time.
smoother. It makes the smoother, it's smoother if you're at the same place, but you're not in the same space. And,
Right.
a lot of venues, if you're not, out, if you can't be outside, there's no place to go except inside where your party is going to be. And, in some places it works better than others, but it's great to just know, like, this is where we're going to be. Also, like for flowers and decor, you can't really be moving a 15-foot arch, or a gigantic chuppah like in 5 minutes.
Right. Right.
And we remember the story about Celia watching the chuppah float down the Hudson River. I mean, it was not raining yet, but it was looking like it was going to. And
Hey, but you got to think it's not just rain, it's wind.
it's wind. It's
heat,
wind.
It's
Yes.
all of that. Rain, wind, heat, cold. What is it going to rain? All of that,
Yeah.
But you can go outside for your photos. If they have a beautiful
Yeah.
chapel, that's the way to go.
Totally, totally. And taking that into account and not making yourself nuts over it. So you're looking at your Doppler like all day. You're not
Yeah.
looking at your phone all day. But some what other interesting ceremony things have we seen lately? I'm kind of loving the people walking up in a different order, or people all walking up together. I'm seeing a lot of bridal parties sitting down. Are you seeing that?
A lot of them
Yeah.
are sitting down, and it's just the couple and the officiant up there. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of them are sitting down.
Well, a lot of our ceremony spaces really don't have a lot of room for a big bridal party.
Oh, that's true. Very true.
Yeah, and I feel like sometimes it's a trade-off of whether your photographer is going to be able to get close enough to you to take pictures, or whether you're going to have everybody standing there. And if you have a lot of little kids, you definitely don't want them standing. Like, no.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And I think sometimes if the space isn't big enough for a larger wedding party and you have a larger wedding party, and then they're kind of squished up there or they're
Yeah,
going along the side of the wall now,
yeah,
it's
they're not
nicer
they're
to
not
have them
comfortable.
seated, right?
Yeah, I think it's more
They're probably
graceful.
more comfortable being seated. I would be more comfortable
Yeah.
being seated.
No, no, I agree. I agree. Um, yeah, and then the ceremony is over, and then you have your bubble lawnmower or other things that people are going to throw at you. And you know, I think it bears mentioning that if you're going to have petals, or you're going to have, well, we don't really use rice or bird seeds. Bird seeds a terrible idea. I love birds, but it gets stuck in everybody's veil and hair, and it's just a mess.
Yeah.
But if that's going to happen, have your officiant announce that at the end.
Yeah.
You may kiss your bride, and you may all shower them with petals. So because people don't really kind of know unless they've been to a wedding like 5 times in the last year.
Right. Or they might forget. I always, if I see they've handed out petals or wands, or
Yeah.
one of my favorite on the beach is the tiny beach balls.
Oh,
They
that's a
hand
cool
those out,
idea.
and then as the couple walks back down the aisle to get them with the beach balls, throw the beach balls up in the air. I have one wedding I worked on the beach in Asbury Park. For McLuhan's there, they did that, and it is one of my favorite photos from a wedding. They're
Oh, I
walking
kind of love
down, and the
that.
balls are just perfect, and the little beach balls are so colorful,
Oh my
but they're
God, I
just
kind of love that.
they're just small. They're not the big ones.
Oh, that would be terrible, wouldn't it? That would be
Yeah.
like pretty terrifying.
I just don't know who blows them up the night before. I guess you get your
Oh,
friends to
your,
come
your
over and help
coordinator
you.
does that. That's
Oh, the coordinator, I guess. Yeah.
and they I think it bears repeating that they do need to be blown up. They can't be like tennis balls or things like that, because
No, no,
that would
no.
be terrible. I could see like a golf theme like group thing. Oh, wouldn't it be cute if we threw golf balls at them? It's like,
No.
no, that would not. No, it would not be cute. Or food of any kind. No, we're not going to be
No.
throwing food at them. Oh my gosh. Now we're into cocktail hour. I kind of like
Mhm.
that. It's my favorite part.
It
It's
is my
everybody.
favorite. Yeah.
And I think most of the venues that I work at all the time do this, but especially in the summer, there should be every waiter in the place should have glasses of something, so people don't get crazy trying to get to the bar. They want to say hello to everybody, but they're also like really thirsty.
Right.
Yeah. So I think that's even if I was at the Angry Orchard oh God, it's such a cute place. Angry Orchard hard cider brewery place last weekend, and they did when people came in, when they came in and when they went into the reception area, they did Aperol spritzes, and they're not very alcoholic, and they're so pretty. They're like a sunrise kind of thing. It was like very, very, then very well received because it was about 147 degrees that day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody likes a pretty drink.
Now we're in cocktail hour. Yay. One of the things I loved, I did a wedding at Perona a couple weeks ago, and one of the people in the wedding, the bride of the groom is Polish, and they had these like completely adorable signs on the cocktail tables with little phrases that the people who did not speak Polish could learn during the course of the cocktail hour and then practice on each other it was like adorable. Like my favorite one was, "Oh my, the bride looks beautiful. And then they had it like phonetically on the bottom of the little sign. They were the cutest things ever.
How great is that?
I thought it was just sweet.
That sounds like something you remember the rest of your life. You'll remember how to say that phrase.
That's right. And you can use
a Polish wedding. Yeah. What a great idea.
I know. It was so cute. And they did something else that was really cute. Well, of course, in cocktail hours now, we always have homage to the pets. We have the drinks named after dogs and cats. I loved it at your wedding. I loved that they had a mocktail named after your dog.
Yeah, my son's wedding. The mocktail was my dog. Yeah, excellent.
Well, I talked to a couple tonight, and they're having the signature drink for their cat is water, because that's all. That's all the cat drinks is water. I'm like, that is hilarious.
There's plenty of times that people walk up and say, "May I just have a glass of water?" I'll take the cat.
Is that hilarious?
Oh, what a sense of humor! I love that.
Oh my gosh, they're just funny. And I was I don't know where I was. I was at a wedding, and literally it was a day wedding. Literally everybody coming to the bar was like, "Could I have a glass of water? Could I have a glass of Coke?" And the bartender looked at me. He's like, "I'm doing a brisk business in non-alcoholic drinks." It's like 11:30. It's wouldn't faze me, but
no, me either. I'd be like, it's wedding, okay a wedding's a wedding.
Oh my God. But it's just funny, and I thought the whole incorporating your pets thing into the wedding it's so big now with the cake toppers and having your actual pets there, which is great. And I don't know. Not everybody can have. Well, most of my venues are dog friendly now. Are yours?
Oh yes, the dog friendly, and then of course we have the ones with the that hire the dog babysitters to take them after the ceremony or after a certain time. Yep. Have you seen where they have the big almost posters of just the dog or the cat's face? And they dance with it on the dance floor or something, or they, of course, the pet's picture on the cocktail napkin.
Oh, absolutely. Or the sip sticks. I have a little wall in my office that has all the sip sticks with the pet's face on top of them. It's like a little gallery of pet sip sticks. It's really funny. But I kind of like that. It's, they are part of our family, and we do enough pet blessings during ceremonies that, I think it's kind of sweet. But the idea that if you're going to have your pet, okay, I was going to say we never have cats at weddings because it's not really in their wheelhouse, but we did have a cat at a wedding. Michael had a cat at his wedding, and I wouldn't say that I recommend it based on that experience, honestly. I would, but we had a lot of rabbits last year.
Yeah, in the little stroller.
Yeah,
right.
I know.
Quite funny, and the little stroller brought down.
I love it. When we worked at Tamerlane. They're so fun because it's vegan catering only, which really makes sense if you think about the fact that it's like a farm animal sanctuary and you really wouldn't want to be eating one of the residents. That would be really stupid. But we had a lot of animal touch things there. They've got the Porta has those big portraits of animals dressed in Elizabethan clothing. They have portraits of their animals that are on the farm there, big gigantic oil paintings. It's so adorable. I can't even. It's really cute.
And they're actually living there on the farm.
And they're actually
the residents of Porta.
They are. It's it's really, those are the things that people, I think, no, I was going to go to the donut wall. I'm going to leave the donut wall out. I was going to say, people are not going to leave your wedding. They might leave thinking wow, we get to make our own perfume. And, but I don't know. It's, what are they going to remember? We're going to remember those dogs in costumes on the walls. Yeah. What else what were we going to talk about?
What I love, and I don't know that this is so much cocktail hour or a late night snack, but I love the roaming cannoli person.
Oh my God, I love that.
On the dance floor.
Oh my God.
And I think that if they're on the dance floor, it's such a great way for keep the party going. Just pause for a little cannoli.
Right? Yeah. We've been talking a lot in a lot of our episodes about not stopping any of the activity for stuff that, I don't know. I was talking to somebody about the flow of her evening. And she's like, well, we're not, we're going to do this, 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 and this. And then after dinner, we're all going to dance. It's like, you're not going to let people dance until after dinner. It's like, really? That's like, I don't know. That's just not something that I really see here. We see
Right.
people, between all the courses, they're up and dancing and it's kind of fun. But, that notion that we can get anything accomplished without stopping all the activity to make that happen. And,
Yeah.
when I'm talking to a lot of my couples, and it's like they're not doing intros into the room. They're not doing speeches until maybe later on. It's kind of an interesting way of fashioning your wedding to make it seem like you, instead of, well, let's introduce everybody into the room and then let's have a first dance. It's like nobody really watches it, and let's have 3 or 4 speeches. And it's like it just seems to me like it would be much more fun if people could like be dancing and carrying on all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. The guest experience again.
Yeah,
I think it's leaning more towards that.
Totally. Well, and I think traditions all are traditions because enough people like them to keep doing them. Doesn't mean you have to do them. You can create your own traditions and not really have to, well, we have to have even, a lot of them have gone out the window anyway, like having an even bridal party. When was the last time you saw 5 women dressed in the same exact dress?
Oh, I haven't seen that in forever.
I haven't seen that in like forever.
Even if it's the same color, it will always
Right.
be a different type
Different
because of the obvious. Everybody likes a different type of dress.
Right.
Everybody's body type is different. Let them choose it. It's not like a suit.
No.
It's a dress. Some people are like, no, I don't want off the shoulder. That just is uncomfortable. Or
Yeah.
a halter top it doesn't look good on me.
Doesn't look good on everybody.
Yeah.
It's true. And
I stay with the vision of what the bride wanted, the color vision, and they all kind of match in a way that they're coordinated together. They don't look out of place. I don't see people with wildly different variations of the dress, but there are always variations.
Yeah. Like I did one at Minerals last fall, and all the bridesmaids were dressed in long velvet. It was at the end of October, so it was pretty cold up there. It has the chance of being pretty cool. They were dressed in long sleeved velvet V-necked long dresses in different colors of velvet, like emerald green and garnet and dark gray. It was so beautiful. It was great. Loved it. And they all loved it too. If your bridesmaids are happy in their dresses,
it's going to show in the pictures.
It's going to show in the pictures.
They feel confident. Yep. They feel beautiful. They're going to radiate that in the photos. And that's exactly what you want.
Absolutely. And I think, it's, having the stuff that makes you feel good and makes them all feel good. And nothing is really engraved in stone anymore.
Right. It's all personalized, and I think the thought is going to a lot of the guest experience and personalized, and what the couple wants, even if it goes against tradition.
Well, we forgot the olive tree planting.
Oh, talk about that. We have a few minutes. Talk about that, because I love that.
You know what? There's a lot of good stuff, and there was a lot of good stuff at that wedding. I did a wedding Memorial Day weekend, and they did a micro. They did not every Airbnb lets you do a party there. So before you plunk down, because there's been a lot of stories about people, their venues have been pulled out from underneath them. But Peerspace, Airbnb, Splacer, they're all places that are peer-to-peer rentals, and they rented this cool postmodern house in Blairstown, I think it was. That was not the legal town, because you know how I am about legal towns. Oh my God.
That's why you have a professional.
No, because it's not where you think it is. They rented this cool house in the woods, and they got married. I just posted that today on my Instagram. They got married on the dock, and they had a beautiful ring of flowers around them, which I love, because I love it when the ceremony decor does not distract from the backdrop. These people were on a dock on a lake, and the last thing we really needed to do is obstruct that view. It's like 90 acres. When you sit down at 90 at Natterer, all you see is trees. Like you don't really notice it when you're walking in. You see like a hill that goes down. When you're sitting down, all you see is trees. And Fiddler's Elbow is a little bit like that too, where you have those rings of flowers around you on the ground that are like beautiful. They had flower arrangements that didn't distract, which I kind of love that. And they had it was 15 people, and they wanted to do an olive tree planting because they wanted to do. They're both like nature people. That's why they were in the woods in Blairstown on that weekend. And it was so sweet because, we talked about the significance, like olive branches are for peace, and olive trees, you can cut them to the ground and they're resilient and they come back. The reading is fabulous. If anybody wants it, I'm happy to send it to you. And then they watered the little olive tree, and then they brought the little olive tree to the wedding reception like it was a guest. It was so sweet.
Yeah, I really like that because I love a good tree planting ceremony, but have a specific tree that you can personalize, and the olive tree part, that's brilliant. How special! I hadn't heard of that before. I've heard of tree planting, but that specific type of tree, that's quite beautiful for a wedding. Yeah.
Sometimes they wanted to have their parents come up and put, like, sometimes people will put dirt from their childhood homes or water, but it was the space. Well, somebody would have been like in the water.
Yeah. We'll do that with sand on the beach for a sand ceremony. What makes it nice is if you can personalize it like that. The sand from the beach that they met on, the sand, of course, from the beach they're standing on. And then I've had them leave room to add sand throughout their lives from vacations and things like that.
Oh, I kind of like that.
And that's quite beautiful, isn't it?
I like the seashell. That's really hard to say. The seashell throwing thing that you do at the wedding. I think that's so sweet.
And what a great photo. That's always a great photo. Yeah. So we want to hear from you guys. Did you do anything unique and personal at your ceremony, like what we've spoken about, or have you done any of the things that we spoke about? We would love to hear from you. Hey, I'd love to get some previous brides and grooms on the podcast to do a little review of their wedding. Tell us what they included that they loved. Tell us what maybe you wish you would have included, that type of thing.
There's so many different ways to personalize the ceremonies, and really, like, every part of it. What I forgot to mention, I wanted to, was my people that had the waiters with the drink. That same place, when they walked down the winding aisle, the winding path to get into the ceremony space, they had easels with pictures of the couple, like at the couple at the beach, the couple with their dog. And it was kind of like a mini movie of their relationship together. It was so sweet. And I watched as people came in and they took time to really look at the pictures. It was really a conversation piece that went from being like just a walk over there to get there to like a little experience. It was lovely.
I like that. So often you see the one picture maybe of them, but
it was great.
Throughout the years, that's pretty special, huh?
Very fun. Very fun. So that's all I got.
Well, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah. And if you have other things that you'd like to do and you need to know how, you can just give us a call and we'll figure out how to do it.
We look forward to hearing from you. All right. Bye.
Bye.
This podcast is brought to you by New Jersey wedding officiant Andrea Pertel, owner of For This Joyous Occasion Officiating Services.
And Celia Milton, owner of NJ Vows Now, also New Jersey wedding officiating services. We're up in North Jersey and Andrea is down in Central and South Jersey. So together we cover the whole state, don't we?
Yes.